Ladies and gentlemen, a man who knows everything about everywhere, Peter Schrager.
Yay!
Hey, good haircut. I think you cut it a little bit shorter. It looks good. You looked very spry on TV this morning, brother.
I cleaned it up a little bit, and I knew I was coming on your show, so I made sure I got pretty, baby. Let's go.
Oh, get pretty. I like that. We appreciate that, obviously. We're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles right now. Obviously, Dallas Cowboys, incredible comeback. Wow. Yeah. We saw the graphic. Man, they a little no chance there whenever that was how it was, 21-0 or whatever, not able to really do much until right before half when George Pickens scores the touchdown. But the Dallas Cowboys could be all the way back. They got a road. They got a path. And Jerry Jones believes they can make the playoffs. I assume they do as well. Happy for Shoddy. Happy for Dak. What a comeback win. For the Philadelphia Eagles, though, it's just so loud all the time. They thrive in that? Like, that's kind of AJ's take. AJ's like, maybe they thrive in the chaos. Maybe they need the controversy, and maybe that's just how that job is. Do we think that's weighing into anything that's happening with their team, or do we strictly believe maybe that, like, Petula maybe doesn't understand what he needs to do as much? It's his first year as offensive coordinator. How do you kind of view the Philadelphia Eagles and what we saw yesterday and what we're seeing as a whole with them?
Yeah, you can't take away those wins that they've had. So those are in their back pocket, and those are over the Rams and over the Bucks and over the Cowboys one time, but then the Chiefs in Arrowhead and the Packers in Lambeau. So like those are in their back pocket. But it's fair to question what the hell is going on with the offense. They were up 21-0, and it's like, all right, they're on all cylinders gone. Since that point yesterday, they only totaled 107 yards, and they never advanced past the Cowboys' 38-yard line.
Jeez.
They had 3 3-and-outs. They fumbled the ball, they missed a field goal, and they committed so many penalties. And here's what I'll say about Kevin Petullo. He comes from that Frank Reich tree. He comes there from Nick Sirianni.
What?
When he was with Phil Rivers and they were with the Colts, they used to throw the ball all over the yard. And Sirianni and Reich likes to throw the ball. They used to do motion. You're not seeing any of it. You're seeing basically, can AJ and Devontae go one-on-one? Can they make their plays? Can Saquon break a tackle? And that's the offense. Like, this is not a guy who just woke up and was handed the job here. This is a guy who's had a career learning about offenses and designing offenses. And I don't think it's necessarily by design that this is the offense that it is. It seems like maybe this is what he thinks is their best chance to win, given what they've got at the quarterback spot and what they've got going with offense. Like, trust me, he knows how to do all the stuff that we see, all the bells and whistles. They're not even trying it. So that's the red flag to me. Like, why not give this offense a chance to do something creative? Why not give this offense a chance to run some of the exotic stuff that his offenses have run before?
Yeah, it feels like it's very loud around that offense mostly. But Philly, maybe this is how the Johns operate down there. And we know Nick Sirianni's the guy that can handle it all, right? Last year, there was A.J. Brown chatter. There was other conversation. When they won the Super Bowl, 2 wide receivers are the ones dumping the Gatorade. I think that sends a big message, as does every cryptic tweet that A.J. Brown puts out.
Yeah.
Sirianni and
Big Dom.
Exactly.
People are saying Big Dom needs to take Petula down there to a local spot and not bring him back.
Uh-oh.
That's what they're saying.
Whoa.
Seeing that.
I saw a couple of tweets from people that are like, what does Big Dom actually do? Is he trying to take care of the Eagles? Well, why doesn't he take care of Petula then? And that could potentially be something for the good of the entire city. You saw Tom playing catch with A.J. Brown?
Yes.
You see who was 2 feet away from Tom?
Who was that?
Big Dom.
I was like, of course. I was watching. I'm like, of course Big Dom orchestrated this entire thing.
Making sure not giving away information.
Tom was playing catch.
He's got some of the Oregon duck in him.
That should be against the
I
rules.
was going to say, that's a bit of a conflict of interest.
Still looks good.
Yeah, he does. He said it was nice to see it come out of hand, a little bit, actually, whenever he was talking about it.
A.J. Brown also noted huge Patriots fan growing up, so I assume this was like a childhood memory moment for A.J. Brown.
And I'm sure A.J. Brown thought of some cryptic tweets to put out while he was playing catch with Tom, or some other people did, at least as soon as they saw this, go, oh, no, this means post-game. It was nice in warm-ups to be able to catch a well-thrown football. Something like that. That's all I thought of. That's all I thought of when I was watching. I'm like, oh, no, Big Dom better get to the bottom of that. Also, why is Big Dom? Of course, Big Dom's here. People in Philly are saying, Big Dom, let's go ahead and not just, play a little hanky-panky with Tom Brady. Let's also maybe go over to Petullo and say, hey, we need to go get some let's go get some mozzarella, Let's go see.
Got some cinder blocks to move.
Let's go see. You do, actually.
Yeah.
All right, let's move along. Philadelphia Eagles, interesting spot. AJ has a question for you, Schrags.
Yep.
Greg, what about the Rams and Matthew Stafford? We know that you're tied into that whole organization, that franchise, Sean McVay. What do you think? Like, are they playing their best ball? Are we about to see this team get even better? Because Matt Stafford looks very healthy, very comfortable. Obviously, Puka, the weapons, Devontae. Like, what's your outlook for this Rams team right now?
You just hope they're not peaking too early. What they're doing right now is a historic, run through the NFL. Listen to this stat I got today. They have not trailed since first quarter of the Baltimore game. That's 5 games and 3 quarters since they've been behind by any points at all. And that's against 5 teams that are currently in the playoffs: the Ravens, the Jags, the Saints, the Niners, the Seahawks, the Bucks. They don't trail. Stafford, you saw 25 touchdowns, 0 interceptions is the pace he's on right now. He's got 30-2 on the year. And Devontae Adams seems to be going into the time machine and looks as good as he's ever looked. Then you go to the defensive side of the ball, and they're menaces. They were all over Baker Mayfield and Teddy Bridgewater last night. And I tweeted today about Emmanuel Forbes, who is a guy that, Ron Rivera took in the first round in Washington and was released by the Commanders. Meanwhile, yesterday, he had 7 targets at him, and there were 0 passes completed. Emmanuel Forbes is playing like he's one of the best corners in all of football right now.
Yeah.
This team is working on all cylinders. And then you get Thicker, the kicker, who they had in yesterday.
Beavis.
And this guy doesn't miss either. So now you've got all 3 facets, and you've got your special teams issues of seemingly taken care of. I don't know, AJ, I look at it, it's like you just don't want to peak too soon because they're doing everything you could possibly want to do. It just might be a little too early right now.
I guess, but I don't know if you're needing me or not, if you're looking for a response or not, Shregs, but I feel like you could peak too soon, just stay healthy. If you can find a way to keep your key guys healthy, you're going to be fine, Shregs.
Look at that. We were just doing
name.
that was TV. That was TV, Pat. We tried.
Yeah, no, he said my name.
I thought so. I thought he was trying to throw it over to you there. AJ said, listen, I agree with everything you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. But it's fascinating. And shout out to Harrison Beavis. I think he went to Missouri, if I do recall. Obviously, throughout college, became thicker, the thicker kicker, the thicker, whatever it is, because he's big lad. He's a big lad. Pure swings yesterday. Pure ball flight. Yep.
Wearing number 92.
Respect. I don't like that McVay did that to him or whatever the case was, but we're talking like smooth ball flight, and I'm happy for him. I'm also happy for Matthew Stafford. And we talked about it in the first hour. You might know a little bit more.
I listened.
What was that super duper trailer park thing you went into there?
Immortal?
Yeah. What is that? What is the Immortal? Do you know?
That was from training camp, and everyone was making jokes like, all right, what's going to happen with this thing? I think sales have to be going up tenfold since the way he started the season. I have no idea what that thing is. I will tell you this. I was hosting Get Up in late August, and the debate we were having was, should the Rams go with Jimmy Garoppolo to start the season over Matthew Stafford? And it was a legitimate debate because we hadn't seen Stafford take the field yet. And it was like, do you put a guy in? And then Collinsworth last night is like, I'm not going to do a Collinsworth impression, but basically Collinsworth was saying that they weren't sure.
Could you, though? Do you have one in your bag?
You got that in your bag.
Let me try.
Because let me close my eyes. Let me try to. Because I remember him talking about it. I think you remember talking about it.
And you ask Matthew about it, and he says, we start getting at this thing. I'll give it a shot. I'll try. And then sure enough, here we are in week 12. He's having a career year at 37. Yeah, that was good. Right?
Yeah, mute TV.
I didn't hear it. Did it come through for you guys?
Yeah.
500 broadcasts.
Not
That's
at all.
the gift you get.
I don't know if I heard
Nailed
it.
it.
But yeah, you're right. Collinsworth did talk about it. I do recall him chatting about it, especially with a back position at the age that he was. There was a lot of questions. We were talking about the Immortal trailer as well at the time because he was supposed to come back and then he wasn't. Then he was supposed to be in pads. He was in shorts. And it was like, wait a minute, this seems a little bit scary. And I think at that point, they didn't really know either what was going to happen because it is the back.
Well,
you don't really know.
Talking to those guys, there was it wasn't arrogance, but it was a bit of like, dude, like relax. It's August. He's 37. He'll be fine. And then it got to like week 2 of the preseason, then week 3 of the preseason. And I'm talking to McVay in the front office, like those are the guys. And they're like, just calm down. Like, we're good. And so they had the utmost confidence. And yet, I think it's fair to question when a quarterback doesn't take a single rep during practice in July and August. And they did the inter-camp scrimmages with the Cowboys. And from all anyone who's there was saying was Jimmy G looked amazing. It was like, do you start the season with Jimmy G? It sounds so crazy now because Stafford is the runaway MVP and looks better than he ever has. It's almost a commercial for everyone saying, take July and August off as long as you're ready.
Right.
You don't wear yourself out in training camp.
Yeah, no doubt. Waste of conversation, but it's always good to have the conversation, especially if it's all we have at the moment, which is what we do in the middle of training camp. And Matthew Stafford thing carried us for a couple weeks too.
Without a doubt.
I mean, we were looking into that entirety because we have so much respect. We were very worried. I was very worried, especially with how old he is.
His back.
And we've seen other guys, especially with the back.
Sciatica.
Golf. You know, we just saw it with LeBron. Yeah. All these, the back is always one that's like kind of unpredictable. Them having the confidence that he's going to come back. And then talking about how he's playing, it's like better than ever. And he's got Devontae Adams who can just shake and have a two-way go. And then he's the runaway MVP favorite. You said it's kind of clear at this point. And then he has the number one scoring defense in the NFL. They're only giving up 16.3 points per game. It's like, what? Are the
cool.
Rams?
I think the Hembo, hello. The biggest differential between like interceptions and touchdowns in a season was Aaron Rodgers in 2020. What's up, Ty? He went 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Stafford right now is 30 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he can maybe make that. And the one common thread between those, Devontae Adams was the receiver for both those guys.
Yeah, and Devontae said he's having fun playing football. How could you not? You got to shake a guy and score a touchdown. Sound good? Yep, we'll do that all damn night. Matthew Stafford never misses. Okay, let's talk about another quarterback who obviously we all love. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Yeah, I feel like everything we're talking about with the Rams right now, we probably expected to be talking about with the Ravens kind of coming into the season. Maybe Lamar being an MVP favorite. Maybe this team dominating on both sides of the ball. But that's not been the case. No, they got a win against the Jets, sitting at 6-5 right now. Probably going to win that division. But what's your thoughts on the Ravens right now and kind of how it's going to play out for them down the stretch? Sorry.
I think D-Bud, like Belichick used to say, like the season starts at Thanksgiving. It really does for the Ravens. They're right there, obviously, with the Steelers. And if they win the division, they get in the tournament. But if they are to make a run, look at this stretch they have coming up. They got the Bengals and Joe Burrow this weekend, Thanksgiving night, obviously national TV. Then they play Pittsburgh, Cincinnati again, then New England, then at Green Bay, at Pittsburgh. So it's almost too soon for us to make a judgment on the 2025 Ravens in week 12 when you've got that slate. Again, Bengals twice, Steelers twice, Patriots, Packers in the Packers game in Lambeau on December 27th. So to me, it's like, I've seen the teams get hot and go on the run. I followed the 07 Giants when they went as a 6 seed and they won it all. Nice. I saw the 2010 Packers with AJ Hawk go on as a 6 seed, win it all. Like this could be that team. They're going to maybe win the division. That might be how they get in either way.
Biggest eye roll of all time from AJ on this back wall.
He didn't like that to even compare him?
No, I think he didn't know that you were going to mention them, I think. So it wasn't an eye roll. It was more of like a side look, and it was on this back wall here. Foxy, can you show the back wall? It was perfect for us. I don't think he expected to do because that Giants team always gets talked about.
But did I not even give you the name mention? Like I didn't just say like the 2010 Packers. I gave you that love too.
No,
I said Ryan Grant. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, you're right. You know, Schrager, you know it all. I didn't roll my eyes. I don't know what it looked like, but yeah, I appreciate it.
No, I think he was surprised that you mentioned him. I think he was very surprised that you mentioned him. Is what I would say. We obviously AJ's got a look, to him. So whenever that changes, especially whenever hold on, you just talked about our team. I don't know. That team never gets talked about in this conversation, Schrags, ever.
Yeah, one of the hottest teams ever was that Packers team that came roaring down the stretch and then obviously won the Super Bowl in Dallas. That's what the Ravens, if the Ravens make the playoffs, they're going to have to go through this gauntlet and win these games. So we're going to all be high on the Ravens. And if they don't win their division, it's because they couldn't get it done and they couldn't make it in. But they're probably not making it as a wild card. They're going to make it as a division winner. So I say all that. The season hasn't even really begun for them. And Lamar's health is a real question. The fact that he had 30 yards rushing, the fact that he can't, do what he's used to do right now. And now that the grind of the December is about to hit and the grind of January is about to hit, does he suddenly find that step? I don't know. So it's going to be really interesting to see what version of them we get over these next few weeks. And I do not take Thursday night with Joe Burrow coming into M&T lightly. I think Joe Burrow coming off the injury, playing against them on national television is something that I would be seriously concerned about if I'm a Ravens fan.
That news has broke. Joe Burrow will be playing on Thanksgiving against the Baltimore Ravens. We're talking about AFC North magic to cap off a beautiful Thanksgiving. Let's talk about the AFC a little bit more. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Schrags, you talked about the Ravens and maybe not making it as a wild card, and for the last few years it's been Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, AFC. You're like, all right, one of them is going to win it. The Chiefs, even after their win yesterday, are still ranked 10th in the AFC. Wow. How many teams in the AFC do you think could actually win the AFC? Because I believe it's the most wide open it's been in probably a decade.
Yeah, it's like the guys we know from the last few years, and then these upstarts. So take those first four, or those first 1, 3, 2, and 5. Is anyone really picking, and I say this, Boston Connor, with you, not trying to insult you, and Pat with the Colts, whatever, but it's like, if it's Chiefs at Colts in the wild card round like we had yesterday. Like if it's
at Colts, we didn't have that yesterday. Okay,
I know.
They were in Kansas City. They were not in the Lighthouse. They were not in the Lighthouse. And I want to let you know, I do think it changed the game a little bit. Okay, I do think maybe being out there in Kansas City at the home of the Chiefs. I think it's a little different than a Lighthouse. But go ahead. To your point.
Just you look at that. It's like, all right, so we've got Patriots as say they are the 1 seed, and then in the divisional round, we got the Bills at the Patriots, and they get another shot at that, and it's the third time they play. I bet you the Bills are favored in that game if Josh Allen's walking in there, or it's Lamar Jackson going out to LA to play the Chargers after some of the losses the Chargers have had. Like whether or not the stats are there, the numbers are there, I think the Lamar Jackson factor would give the Ravens the favorite. So it's this fascinating season of the guys we know, those 3 quarterbacks, of course, those 3 teams that are there and they're banging on the door every year. And then you've got these upstarts, and it's like, okay, Bo Nix, we love what we saw against the Chiefs. We love what that defense does. We love everything about it. But when the rubber hits the road and it's January football, is it what we know in our back pocket? The Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, or is it this team that's been doing everything right, but are they ready to make that moment happen this year number 2 in the playoffs?
You're talking about, obviously, the AFC right now. Ty actually had a point that we talked about during the break about teams this year with quarterback stuff. What was your thoughts about if you have an elite defense?
Yeah. Basically, I think this is one of the years, like one of the rare years where, like, now, obviously, the Rams would maybe buck this trend a little bit, but I don't think you necessarily have to have an elite quarterback to win the Super Bowl this year. I think we look at all the teams up there that we're talking about as legitimate Super Bowl contenders. And
now, Drake is elite.
Yeah, for sure. But it's the defenses this year. Like, teams with unbelievable defenses are the ones that we're talking about week in, week out. And with this much parity, teams who have defenses that are that good, like, they're going to be in every single game. And then it's just a matter of, can a guy like Bo Nix have his best game of the year when we already know what the defense is going to do?
Yeah, I think it's such a great point. In 2025, every rule is built for the offense and to score points. And yet 2 teams in particular, Denver and Houston, have built their teams around defense and said, all right, and I talk to Peyton all the time. I talked to Vance Joseph on my podcast last week. They have Mahomes twice a year. Mahomes owned them for years. It is no accident that they spent all their money in free agency over the past few years on bringing in Zach Allen and bringing in, Hufanga and bringing in Dre Greenlaw. And then, of course, drafting Jahdae Barron, despite the fact they already have Patrick Surtain. Like, that's what you do to beat Mahomes. You have to build your team to beat Mahomes. Then you go to Houston. You've got Nick Caserio there as the GM. They draft C.J. Stroud, trades up to get Will Anderson. And then you look at what they did on the defensive side of the ball, whether it be bringing in Danielle Hunter or drafting Derek Stingley when there was obviously needs on offense, taking him 3rd overall. Like, these are moves that are made that are very intentional and saying, despite the league telling us that, hey, air raid offense and have 50 touchdowns from your quarterback and score, let's flip it on its head. Let's be the team that you got to beat. And you got to beat us every single way because our defense is that good. That's the Broncos and the Bills. The Broncos and the Texans. I'll be fascinated to see if those 2 teams can do it the whole stretch of the way and then maybe find themselves playing in San Francisco this February.
Another team you didn't mention there, Colts invested a lot on the defensive side, including 2 first-round draft picks in the future. And then Patrick Mahomes needs a 4.5-minute drive, and he gets it. Just no problem at all. Just right down there, and then he gets the ball back in, and he does it. So, learning lessons as we get to and through meaningful football. As you were saying everything you were saying, and Ty was saying what he was saying, Debo, who played 9 years in the NFL on the defensive side of the ball, goes, need a
you're gonna need it. And look, defense.
You'll need the quarterback.
You definitely need a defense as well, but you're gonna need. I mean, elite. It's only 3 or 4 probably elite quarterbacks, but you're gonna need one of those guys when it comes down to. It's all good on November 24th, and we're looking at standards and saying, okay, these are teams, but somebody's going to have to take that step. It's going to be Drake. Is it going to be Bo? Is it going to be one of these guys who step up and have an elite run like Joe Flacco or somebody like that in the playoffs? But you're going to need elite quarterback play in the playoffs to get that chip for sure.
On that note, Connor, congratulations. Drake May feels like one of those guys. Need one of those guys to do it. All of the different traits that you would need to be a guy feels like Drake has. And don't look now. I got a text from The Miz yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Shedeur?
He's saying he's thinking maybe Browns in playoffs this year. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah.
This year. Miz said I did the math. This is during the game. He's at the game.
No way.
He lives in Vegas. He's at the game. He's texting me during the game.
Relax, Fox.
I did the math. I think we could still make the playoffs this year. This is how this should have been from the beginning is how they feel. Go ahead, Con, man.
Yeah, hard not to feel that way after watching him complete 11 passes, Schrags. What do you think about the Browns and Shedeur? Can they even go back to Gabriel at this point? It feels like no, especially while Gabriel was playing. Everybody was just asking him, like, hey, can you even throw the ball 20 yards down the field? And then Shedeur completes a 53-yard pass in a bucket. What do you think about that situation as a whole? And what do you think about Stefanski? People are kind of getting loud about his whole kind of demeanor as a head football coach.
They have announced that he is starting.
Boom.
It has been announced that he is starting per sources, I do believe, which is good.
That's what I was going to roll with. And I think
sorry.
it's you stole my thunder.
No, I just wanted. Hey, this is new news because we were actually talking with Schefter about like, hey, how come he didn't come out and say that after the game? So this news being reported that it is being started. It's like I just wanted you to know that. That's on me. I apologize.
It's fair. No, thank you. The thing is this. It's like it's such a sensitive topic, obviously, and we could do all the different podcasts and everything that Shedeur is like such a lightning rod. Here's where you can look at it. One, the team never looked as alive and as fired up as they did yesterday. Myles Garrett, their top player, was like so supportive. Isaiah Bond on this pass, that's a perfect pass. You could also say he had a horrible interception in this game that was like ill-advised. Still took a while to get the ball out, and that the Raiders are bad. So you look at it one of two ways. I'm going to go with the former here. I'm going to say let's take it for what it was. The team looked awesome. They looked fired up, and he made this pass and then the Sampson screen pass that goes for 50 yards on this one.
Oh, what a ball!
It was just
ball!
You could say you could make the comment that he didn't do anything in this play. Guess what? He ran the offense, and they had to do it, and they got it done. That said, Raiders defense is atrocious, and I'm not taking it away from Shedeur, but I like the fact he did it on the Raiders, who passed over him 7 different times in the NFL draft. 7 different times the Raiders felt that they were better off without Shedeur Sanders, despite being connected there for so many months leading into the draft. He found a way. He's going to start, and he's going to go up against the Niners. And we could keep on doing this whataboutism. Let's not do that. He did it yesterday. He won the game. And he looked good, and that pass to Bond is as good as any the Browns have completed all season long.
Actually better, yeah. So that's the best ball that they've had in 2 decades, they said, actually.
Forgot Bond was there.
Certainly mean exactly as he catches. I'm like, oh, yeah, very fast. I'm happy they're using him. That's good news. And to your point about the energy, it's like just
real
caring at all about a Cleveland Browns game felt good for me. Just caring at all about what the outcome was. And then him getting and we talked about this in the first hour, and you're an on-field reporter like pretty regularly at this point.
That was a gift to Tiffany Blackman, but go on, because he was so good in these interviews.
Yes, he was afterwards, but also right before his first ever start as a 5th-round rookie. Somebody had to approve of that, right? Like the Browns had to approve of that happening and all of it.
Get to interview the quarterback, yeah.
Starting quarterback, you got to get.
Here's what he said right before his first start. He's a 5th-round draft pick. I don't.
Shedeur, you told us that this week felt like you were getting back to normal, being a starting quarterback, like you have your whole career. But this is going to be your first NFL start. What does that opportunity feel like in this moment?
Feels good, but we cool, calm, collective. Like this ain't nothing to us.
And what do you hope to show against this Raiders defense, your teammates, yourself, and these Browns fans with their play today?
I'm who they've been looking for.
Walk off.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Goodbye. What a hilarious line. Like, even in that moment, like, I'm gonna create, this is a clip here. This is something like, all that shit is not Cleveland Browns like. None of it. So it's like,
thank God.
The interest of, if you're a Shedeur Sanders fan, it's like, thank God he's nothing like what the Browns
If you're a fan of football, you don't want anything to be what Cleveland Browns has been.
Amen. Myles Garrett has 18 sacks right now.
Mm-hmm.
18 sacks. He leads second by 5. He's outrageous right now. So that has been good football for the Cleveland Browns. Joe Thomas got to his spot better than anybody in the history of football. But a lot of Cleveland Brown football is shite football. So Shedeur bringing any energy, I think, is a positive. But it was hard to find like a lot of highlights to run. So we ran the same plays over and over. It's his first start, middle of the season.
Yeah.
First start.
Another good one to Judy if, Judy just kind of
Judy fumbled, and he can't control who we play.
Wasn't his fault.
Like they were up against a Raiders team, and by the way, Max Crosby's a pretty good player, and he was in his face the whole game, and their run defense is pretty good. Like you can't fault him for playing against a bad Raiders team. It's just who was on the schedule, and that same bad Raiders team looked at his draft profile 7 different times and said, "We're good. We don't want this guy." So I liked it from him. Harold Fannin, hello.
Beast.
Yeah, absolute beast. You know, there's another young quarterback that's getting a lot of chatter about him. And I don't want to bring it up, Schrags.
Oh, yeah, have to.
That Minnesota Vikings team.
Yeah.
I don't want to reiterate the point, and people are going to say we're echoing ourselves. But it is such a good point that it needs to be stated time and time again. That NFC was decided in the final week by the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings. They're playing for the number 1 overall seed. Team back. Coordinator's back. Everything's back except for quarterback. Quarterback is new. Who you going with? Young guy. We drafted him early for a reason. He got hurt, doesn't have a lot of reps, but we were going all in around him. You got Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins.
Rodgers was available.
Aaron Rodgers allegedly was waiting to hear if they wanted him. A lot of quarterbacks, okay? A lot of quarterbacks that wanted that position because they know Kevin O'Connell's offense. If you are able to get to your drop step, there's somebody going to be wide open. And it might be Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in all of football. So very fascinating how it's all unraveling right now and how 9 is performing. He's also currently in the concussion protocol that just got announced via Ari Mirov, via the team's, I would assume, website or social media account. How do you kind of view this entire 9 situation with the Vikings? Because obviously yesterday Micah and Green Bay Packers defense did their thing against them. 59, 52-yard field goals, half the points that they scored the entire night. What are your thoughts on the Vikings? Because they're supposed to be in it, I think everybody thinks or thought going into the season.
Well, look, Jeff Hafley's defense put on a show yesterday in the fact that they had 5 net yards in the second half and they were sacked 5 times, had 2 interceptions, and then both 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 in the first half, big moments in the red zone, like got stuffed. That's the game. And we're going to talk about it the rest of his career, sadly, until he turns it around. But J.J. McCarthy was selected over Bo Nix, and he was in a draft where there was other quarterbacks who are having great success. Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels last year, and Michael Penix has shown flashes. So you're in that draft class. That's one bucket. Then the second bucket is the guys that you chose him over. And Darnold could have been franchise tagged this year, and McCarthy's salary is not exuberant. They could have had both those guys on the roster, and they could have said, let's run it back. We came up just short. Let's do it. You could have also brought back Daniel Jones. You could have entertained Rodgers, and you could have said to McCarthy, we're going to wait one more year until you come off this injury. We're going to see. Hindsight's 2020, of course. We forget how bad those 8 days were for Sam Darnold. 2 of the worst performances that have cost one man more money in the history of the NFL than Sam Darnold's last 8 days as a Viking. The Sunday night loss and then the Monday night loss where they lost to the Rams in Arizona, where if we were to have this conversation that Tuesday morning, and maybe we did, it was probably 99% saying, all right, it was a nice story. It was a good ride. Sam Darnold was fun for a year for the Vikings, but we got to go to JJ.
No.
I would have said franchise tag. Let's split the baby. Let's do it. Let's see if we can get one more year here. Keep JJ, in the wings. And then year 3, he's the guy if Sam doesn't. But truth of the matter is, they went all in on a draft pick that they traded up for the year before. And they were banking on what their pre-draft process was, the interviews and the coaching, that like O'Connell and McCown can get the best out of this guy. Well, not only has he been a disappointment, but there's been health issues this year too. So now you're left with major question marks when obviously they had maybe the best quarterback room in football last year.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about the end of Darnold's days, and Seahawks were obviously reaping the benefit of Darnold going out there. Big win over the Titans for them yesterday. And the Minnesota Vikings sitting in a position where, are they going to have to admit something here? No, right? Can't.
Well,
No.
Tell you what, if Max Brosmer gets a start, we're looking at a Brock Purdy situation.
Yeah, look out.
He is not turning that ball back over.
I mean, there's a chance, right?
There is. I'm being dead serious about it.
There's
Tell me about him, because I got to be honest.
please.
I know the name, but give us the little profile.
He was an FCS All-American at New Hampshire and then transferred to Minnesota, had a really good year last year at Minnesota, and then, came to the Vikings this year.
can spin it?
Oh, yeah, he can spin.
He can run too?
No, not much of a runner.
Okay.
Just more of a spinner.
Okay, so he can spin it. So Kevin O'Connell's offense, we're doing robot stuff.
Yeah.
We're in here. We're doing this entire thing. This could be a Brock Purdy situation.
Could be.
Yes.
This could be a Brock Purdy situation.
If they admit fault, though, isn't that a fireable offense for the GM? Like, you had this team that was ready to be the best team in the NFC, and now all of a sudden it's just like, I mean, I don't know, because I see a lot of people putting KOC into that, and I don't think that. I think that's getting way ahead of your skis. But like, if you're the GM, you traded up to draft this guy, you had everything kind of made, and you were ready to go. You paid everybody on the defense. Your offense is kind of set with all the. So we're gonna try something else.
And it's also how it looks. Like, we were told it was gonna look good. And I agree. Like, okay, sure, they're not going to win.
I was lied to.
We all knew they weren't going to win 14 games like last year, but we were told it was going to.
You're going to call the Better Business Bureau.
We were told all training camp how great he was as well. It's not as if the expectation, I think, is also what has killed 9 in the sense of how bad it looks, because during training camp and all these people were coming on and saying like, hey, Nine's great. They're real confident in J.J. McCarthy right now. And maybe they were in training camp because he was playing against, high school football defenses, but it just looks abysmal. Like, there's no hope.
There's a couple good throws there.
Not yesterday, there wasn't.
Behind the line of scrimmage, maybe.
I will say this. I just looked. Brosmer's first start next week. They have at Seattle, so that would be tough. But
that'd be
he's built
easy defense.
Yeah. Well, if you're the GM, that's a good move then.
Can't protect Max Brosmer. Got to throw him out there.
Yeah, throw this guy in, and then you can say to the fan base, oh, this is the guy you want? This is the guy you want? I think we'll stick with 9.
The postscript on it all, and I think I've said this before, maybe on this show, but like the Commanders thought Sam Darnold was coming to them last year, and at the last second, he's like, I'm actually going to go with O'Connell and go with those guys, and they were like, well, all right, we'll pivot, we'll go with Mariota. But like, what a sliding doors moment if Darnold was in Washington, never takes the field, and then all of a sudden it's Jaden from day one, and we don't even know about Sam Darnold, and it's like, I don't know. It's just amazing how the NFL works, and it's these moments that like come and go.
Butterfly effect, I believe, with decisions.
Yes, that's what
effects, everything like
that's
that.
better off.
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
Did we know?
That was a sick hoodie you got on, by the way.
Ohana?
Yeah.
I got an Ohana hoodie.
You got one? That's
Shout
sick.
out to Rob and the Oregon equipment staff. They always hook it up.
That's cool.
Great Air Forces, too, that have Ohana on it,
Damn.
Yeah, because it was celebrating Mariota going in there. He's tall. Did we know he was tall?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mariota's big. What, 6'4"? Easy, right?
Yeah. First thing I said to him was, holy shit, I didn't know you were tall. You're tall. And he did. Yeah.
I know we're doing all NFL, Pat. That was incredible Saturday morning.
The motorcycle?
Oh my God, dude. And then landing, getting involved with the shout. Like I say this as an objective viewer, not a sycophant, not to kiss
Get
your
the
ass.
hell out of the way, social media guy.
This is all I'm saying. All right, social media guy. We'll get the video. Don't worry. Someone's filming. There's a camera from the sky and a drone. We're good. We don't need social media guy filming this. Here. I used to wake up and look forward to Saturday Night Live every Saturday night and see who the cold open was going to be and who they were going to have. This is how I am now on Saturday mornings with these game day openings. They're incredible. You've now set the standard and the bar so high. I don't know where you guys are going on Saturday, but like the only thing left is to like jump out of a plane or to like jump off a mountain. I have nothing. I don't know what else you can do at this point.
Okay.
Bungee jump.
I appreciate that.
A Toro.
Helicopter.
Yeah, we could do a lot of things, I guess. No, it's I'm very thankful that Matt, who is the leader of the Quack, kind of hooked it up. I think he had to have belief that I could ride a motorcycle, so I can ride a motorcycle. My wife and I
Look at that hair.
have it. Yeah, I mean the helmet was obviously pretty tight. I also, there's a chance that thing has an anti-fog screen on it, but that just wasn't the case. And when I realized with the fog, the lights, and it was dark, and that kid's running backwards in front of me at one point, it's like, all right, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on here. And then I didn't do a test drive. The cover up of the wires, plastic.
Oh, yeah.
Plus being a little moist in the morning. Like in my head, I didn't know those were going to be there. Should have known they were going to be there. I'm rolling through. I see those for the first time. I'm like, oh, no, this need to stay straight here. Then we turn left in there. So it was very cool for everybody that set that up. Miss Dana over at Oregon, the leader of the dance crew and I think stadium environment and mascot and everything like that. I appreciate her going to work for this whole thing. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Fosso made a lot of calls. Fosso.
Oh yeah.
Fosso made because we're second time in like 3-4 weeks. So if I just do the same thing, and we went there last year, it's like you can't just do the same thing every time.
There's just something special, and it was the same end when you guys were in Utah, like that morning darkness. And I know it's not an easy thing for you guys to be doing these West Coast hours, and especially on a Saturday morning. But like, gosh, there is nothing more electric than me on the East Coast with my son on the couch, turning it on, and it's dark as night, and there's a full crowd there, and you're going nuts with the smoke coming out. I loved it, bro. It was great.
Okay, I appreciate the comment. That's very, very cool of you to say. And it was a lot of fun, and thank you to the Oregon people for their hospitality. Those are the Air Forces there, the Ohana Air Forces I had on. So it was, they were very kind, very nice, and shout out to the kids showing up. We were there 2 times in like 3 weeks.
Impressive.
And they showed up in a big way, especially.
There were critics. There were critics who said you shouldn't have been there, Pat.
Yeah, there was some other opportunities. Every week there are those. Every week there are those. True. But Dan Lanning and everybody are so kind. And being a part of a show that people want to come to their place is very cool. So I appreciate you saying that. And shout out to Oregon. Hey, they got a football team.
Yeah, they do.
They got a tough football team.
They got a quarterback, too. I like that kid.
Yeah, Dante's a stud. All right, last question here for you, Schrags, on this Overreaction Monday. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Schrags, before the season started, you came on the show and basically said, hey, the coaching changes in Detroit. I'm out. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. You took a lot of heat, and then for a little bit there, when Johnny Moe got his play calling duty stripped from him, you were, maybe right, but you could probably argue they may have the best player in the NFL in Jahmyr Gibbs. Where do you stand on the Lions right now after, not the prettiest of wins yesterday and then a tough one on Thursday against the Packers on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, very good team and a very good offense and a very good running back in Jahmyr Gibbs, who had 3 touchdowns and more than 230 yards from scrimmage yesterday, 50 yards from scrimmage. I think it's fair to say that they are an excellent team who's going to either win the division or be a wild card contender, and of course in the Super Bowl contention. It's also fair to say that when they go outside and play in Lambeau and they lose in week 1, and they go outside and lose to the Chiefs in Arrowhead, and then a week ago playing against the Eagles coming up short, like, it's fair to ask whether this team is a team that is good or a team that is great. And I think the loss of Ben Johnson was a big storyline in the offseason, and I jumped on it, and I was wrong. Dan Campbell can still get this offense going, but the fact that they've replaced their offensive coordinator already sort of justifies what I was fearing at the very least, that maybe there is a gap in the play calling from Ben Johnson to what we thought was going to be Johnny Moe as the offensive coordinator. So I think both things can be true. I was wrong that the Lions were going to be flatter on offense. And I'm also right that let's see how they do as the season goes on, and that Ben Johnson's a pretty good play caller as well.
Jahmyr Gibbs was pounding the ground on that run. I mean, he was beating the shit out of the ground on that run.
It's unbelievable.
So he's going into earth so hard. And obviously that's why he's so fast. He's explosive. I mean,
it was like Pacheco, though.
He's special. This guy's special talent. Yeah, running angry, but also incredibly fast. And Gibbs goes supersonic, not bad here from, D-Bone. Graphic designers had a hell of a day today.
Yeah.
Had a hell of a day today. They absolutely crushed it. But you talk about him being so fast. He's supposed to be a part of a duo, Sonic and Knuckles. It's seemingly becoming the Sonic show. And how could it not be with how good he is? I assume that's something that MCDC has to balance. Ty, have you heard any comments from MCDC?
Yeah, he basically said something along the lines of like, listen, man, I'm trying to kind of balance this shit, give David his touches, but I don't even get to watch Jahmyr because every time hey, 3 clouds and a little bit of dust with Dave, or 75 yards and a touchdown with Jahmyr Gibbs. I think you know which way I'm leaning, man.
Yeah, it does.
Pat,
yeah.
I was texting with Ty because the Packers, I think this is the biggest game for both those teams' seasons this week on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit, where the Lions have handled the Packers last couple of years, whatever. And then all this hype with the Packers defense, like, all right, here comes Jahmyr Gibbs. And I love this. I mean, everyone's talking about Chiefs, Colts, and of course, Ravens, Bengals, but like Packers, Lions at 1:00 on a Thanksgiving Thursday. Like, let's go.
Yeah, it's supposed to be noon. I think we all thought.
Yeah.
We all thought that was
Agreed.
going to be noon. So we'll try to adjust, I guess. Thanks for adding another hour of potential arguments to America.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Could have put the game on earlier, so we could have the entire afternoon. Green Bay, Detroit on Fox, Kansas City, Dallas on CBS.
Look at that slate.
It's a good one. Cincinnati, Baltimore on NBC, and then Chicago and Philly on primetime. All playoff implicating type games. It's going to be a huge Thanksgiving. Schrags, we appreciate the hell out of you, brother.
Bro, I love you. I love you guys. Thank you. This was awesome. Always is.
Hey, you're killing it. We're watching. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Schrager.
Yay.